Okay. Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our WoW Wednesday testimonial call. I am going to go over the disclaimer first. The AO scan technology is not a medical device. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease. If you are sick, please consult with your healthcare provider. We are going to share testimonials on any and all of our products. That includes the scanner. It includes the SEFI, broadcasting SEFIs for people, doing scans on people. It's the 660 band, any of our supplements, and our inner illuminator. This is the 660 band that we have, and then our inner illuminators down here in the corner. It's a red light therapy, and then we have some wonderful supplements, and then this is our scanner here. So I'm gonna open it up and just let anybody share their testimonials. There's Daddy. You want to hold her?
Hi, this is Jody. I'll share.
Oh, great. Thank you, Jody.
All right. I actually have a couple that happened this week.
Yay.
Awesome. Yes. So I have a friend who works at a fitness center, and I did a free scan on her, and it came up with group A strep. Yeah. And she said, well, I've been having a sore throat. So I did the erase and ran some homeopathy for her. And she emailed me about 15 minutes later and said,
and I said that we was right over here.
Lisa, can you mute yourself, please, son?
Okay. It's 8 o'clock.
Lisa, can you hear us?
Yes.
Can you mute yourself?
Can you mute?
Okay. Whoop. Okay. And so I had another friend called me, and I've never scanned her in person, but she was on her way to urgent care with what she suspected was a kidney infection. I asked her if it was okay if I ran some scans on her.
Hey.
And as soon as she got there, she said she didn't need to be seen because she felt better.
Wow. Oh, wow.
That was amazing. And my last one is my aunt was just
like they detached from you.
Hey, Lisa.
I'm sorry. Let me put it on. Let me put it on mute.
Please.
So my last one is I have a family member that was just recently diagnosed with, they found a lump in her breast. So I started running frequencies on her, and then I didn't run them for a couple of days. And in talking with her, I asked her, how are you doing? How are you feeling? And she said, well, I was kept feeling this kind of zing, but I haven't felt it for the last 2 days. And I'm like, well, I've been running frequencies and I hadn't run them for the last 2 days. So that was super powerful for her and me. Wow. But I wanted to make sure I shared, because that was like 3 people in the last 5 to 7 days. So that's cool.
That's really cool. Thank you so much for showing up to share that with everyone.
Yes, You're welcome. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to share on any of the things that we have? Go ahead.
I'll share on the scanner. I have a new client, and I was working with her, and then a couple weeks later, her daughter and her texted me that she was having a lot of difficulty breathing. And the emergency room has failed her constantly. I mean, it's one of those things where she has very little hope that they're going to actually take care of her. I mean, she still would have gone, but they can't help her. So I started running some frequencies, and I didn't hear from her for a few days. I checked in with her. She goes, oh, that went away. It was so bad. They were like, no, it's scary. And she's like, no, that went away. So,
that's awesome.
Anyway, I get story. And then this one woman was wanting to reach out to me to do mud packing on her, which is something that I teach and do. And she feels like she got medically injured when she had a pain shot injected into her butt cheek. And so I had her do inner voice, and I ran like chemical detox and stuff like that off of her. And she was feeling much better the next day. So
Wow.
yeah, I was just like, that's fantastic. So anyway, just want to share those. Very good.
You know, the SEFI is just simply amazing. It really
It's
is.
epic. It's epic. Oh, it's changing hands. All right, I'll get back off screen now.
Thank you, Chelsea. That was awesome.
Yes, it was. Anybody else like to share anything that they have?
I think Tamara's
There I
trying.
am.
There you go.
So my partner, Michael, Monday morning, I was in the bedroom doing my tones. And then all of a sudden he comes barging in. Oh my God, I have a cold sore. I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, okay. And he hasn't had a cold sore in probably 2 years. And it was like 3 of them on his
Oh.
body. And, you know, obviously doing some detoxing is what I think. So we're like, okay, we got tools. So I'm like, okay, get off of me. Went on to him, did a playlist. I had just listened to your homeopathy call from Saturday, the day before. So I went in and put I think herpes, I put a bunch of different things in, and I forget which, I think it was Natrum Mira.
Yeah, Natmer.
Yeah, that one came up. So I did, and then I muscle tested, and it was for the 20 cc. So I ran it for the 10 minutes. Did that. I did the erase button on it. Muscle test, it was like 3 or 4 times the first time. We did it like 3 times throughout the day. We also have a different just a red light therapy. I had him do that 3 times a day. The wand, he wanted to intuitively, we have a tincture of OSHA, and he's like, I want to do OSHA. I'm like, go for it. And I would say within 24 hours, all but one of them had dried up. It looked like if someone gets a cold sore, like 3-4 days later, we were like, holy crap. I should have taken a picture of it the first time. I didn't. I took a picture of it yesterday. And he had some dinner to go to tonight, and he was, you know, so he was just on, we were just on it. But I would say it looks like a week later, and it just happened Monday morning. So that was fun. It was like,
Yeah. You know,
getting all my tools out.
yeah, it's really fun when you start mixing, you know, the homeopathy and your other tools, but the homeopathy, the Bach flowers, and then the SEFIs, and send them SEFI dots, and send them some homeopathy to take in. So yeah, I mean, it just gets
I printed his glasses. I did a bunch of,
Wow.
so.
See, it's so fun to empower people to be able to do all of this stuff on their own. That just
Yes.
lights my fire.
It does me too. We have such amazing tools. Anybody else like to share anything?
I share about the animals,
Woohoo!
about a horse. This is amazing, y'all, really.
Please.
This girl's in Ohio. I don't even know her, but she had a horse, and I just said, can we scan this horse? Because the horse wouldn't get on the trailer, the horse wouldn't ride right, nothing. So for 3 days at the same time, I scanned the horse, and tonight she called me in tears. She's riding the horse. The horse stepped onto the trailer. You guys, I want to cry myself, if you want to know the truth. It's so exciting. And I mean, she's going to do a video for me to put it out there. She goes, I want people to know about this and what's going on. I mean, she was so, and it's a beautiful horse, but apparently had been abused before she got it, you know, and she's a young trainer, and I mean, she was crying. I was crying. But it was awesome. She was telling me how the horse got on the trailer, how she saddled the horse. She couldn't even touch the horse because the horse's skin was so tender. And she said, now I can brush the horse without him flinching. And as Miss Sheila, as Tammy knows, I'm like the animal freak. So this is exciting for me because I do the communication with the animals and have done therapy with the horses for years. So now to have this tool in my hand, I truly, you guys right now telling you about it, I want to cry because
Yeah.
it is so exciting. I mean,
Yes.
so exciting
Well,
to
you know,
see how they can heal so quickly.
I have to add, Shelly is actually the one that is kind of helped me with piggy britches, you guys. And she's also helping me with Sunshine. So she's an amazing communicator and she's actually mentoring me a little bit. So she feels like I'm going to be a great communicator too. So, and I kind of feel like I'm being called that way, but I'm going to tell you also with piggy britches, with Sunshine, you guys, and I just told you a little bit of story. This was a dog that was in a barn all the time, in a kennel, locked up for 6 years. She was a breeder dog. And I'm telling you, I'm running frequencies on her 24/7 when I'm not working on my clients, because I do have some clients that I've taken on. And you guys are watching my post, I'm sure. And her response is incredible, I feel like, for an animal that's been treated so. She wasn't really, like Shelly said, she wasn't really abused, but she just wasn't really taken care of, So SEFIs are amazing, and I haven't even started doing homeopathy with her yet, just because I'm trying to just kind of ease into everything. Anyway,
Wow.
anybody else like to share anything?
I just
I
wanted to say
would.
on that,
Well, I would like to
people-
ask a question to
Yeah,
Shelley.
go ahead.
So, Shelley, did you do anything? Did you do SEFIs? Did you do inner voice? Well, I play the tones for my dog, and I give my dog SEFIs. But what did you do?
I just did the vitals and the comprehensive, and
Okay.
the girl was so sweet. She went to the barn with this horse and played the tones for the horse.
Good.
You
Good.
know,
Okay.
it was
Okay.
cool.
Thank
And
you.
she loved it. So yeah, that's all we did.
What just was running through my mind when you were talking about that is how we are excited about, what we've offered these people, but I'm sitting here thinking about the bondage that these animals are in and how we're able to set them free. And that's like, that is awesome.
And I can also tell you, when I started with the tones with Sunshine on probably the first 3 scans that I did on her, she almost wanted to run away with those tones. So, and I know that the tones were helping to unblock or balance something that was out of balance, because she responded much like a child that I had scanned a couple of years back that was cerebral palsy, and she had no voice, and she was hiding underneath the furniture, you guys. And when we started with the tones, her mom called me and said, Tammy, we've got to shut those off because she's screaming bloody murder. Or I was sending SEFIs as well, but she wouldn't even listen to the tones. And I'm like, if you'll ease her in. So I did the same thing with Sunshine. You've got to ease these animals in sometimes if you're getting a kind of a recoiling or a negative response. So I just turned it way down and put it on the other side of the room and let it play out loud, and she seemed to do a little better. But as time goes by, I just see this animal just evolving into what she's meant to be, and that's exciting. I mean, it's just really, that's just enough about me. I want everybody else to share, but that is one of my shares. So,
Well, Tammy, I've seen so many abused horses and dogs over the years that I started out as a massage therapist for horses and then chiropractic and all that. So to see this happen, and I've done energy work for years, but this is the most remarkable thing I've ever held in my hands. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing, because it's not just in animals, there's no placebo effect. So that's how we know this thing works. So you're going to have people that they're going, well, that doesn't even help me. Or, well, you might need to coach them a little bit and kind of explain them a little, explain to them what it's really doing and how it's working for them to kind of wrap their brain around it. So, all right, anybody else?
Hey, Miss Shelley, I have a question for you.
It's
Therapy horse in Sarasota. We have a lot of academies down here that help with
I can't hear her, Tammy.
Oh, you can't hear her?
Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Maybe if I
Hang on, let me put my microphone, my earplugs in. Maybe that'll help.
And let me mute Sheila and myself and see
Shelley, can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. We have a lot of therapy horse academies here in Florida
Yes,
for
ma'am.
handicapped children. How would you suggest we use our device for the horses specifically? Because I understand they take on the illness of the child when they're helping that child.
Well, they do, but they don't. I know what you're saying. That's kind of a whole nother bag, ma'am, that you kind of have to get into. But if you're going to use your the scanner, I would probably just go in and I'd stay on the vitals for a while, and just I'd go from there, and shield the area, maybe shield the area before the child rides the horse. Their sensitivity levels are extremely high, but it's amazing though. I know what you're saying about them taking on what the child has, but they'll release it as soon as they get out in the sunshine. I don't know if people have been taught that, but that's what I was taught.
Shelley,
Does
I've
that help?
seen, yeah, it does. I've seen a lot of them get very skittish afterwards, especially working with autistic. And we have a
Right.
large autistic school here. And they take their children out on Fridays, and the horses are just depleted after they leave.
I would suggest that you would shield the whole area before you put the children on. Do your shielding for the area in which the horse is going to be in. So the energy will be calmer, or whatever you shield for, in that area. And then you might even shield each horse.
Good suggestions. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You could probably do a little bit better on not shielding each horse, but maybe take a picture of where the horses are standing
Yeah,
and put them in spaces and objects and shield the whole area.
right. Yeah.
I mean, to save a little bit of time. I wouldn't go against what Shelley's telling you,
Oh,
but
no. This is a whole new, I could walk in there and take care of it because I've done it for so many years. So this is a new world for me too, y'all. It's pretty phenomenal, but it's like, woo. But
So
yeah,
the
I would do
horse-
shielding, definitely.
So a horse will take on the characteristics of the child?
They will temporarily. That's been my experience and what I have seen in the past with it. Because of okay, here's what people don't understand. I'm gonna give you a little mini class real quick. In the center of the horse, in the center of the human, that's where they connect with the horse. That's the balance, okay? Well, these children can't balance on this horse. So what happens is the energy from these children, even though the muscle groups are the same for the horse and the child, the energy is like they're moving constantly, okay? And that horse feels that. So they go on what we call, they get on the muscle, they start tensing up, okay? And so then they are exhausted when they're done, because normally they'll be older horses, and things like that. So, this work is absolutely important in those schools for these horses, as well as the children.
Thank you. I never heard that before. I don't know. I'm just amazed how amazing that is. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
all right. Anybody else? Dr. Sheila.
I have something.
Yes, go right ahead.
Hey, everybody. This is about two children, my own, who is a 16-year-old girl, and my nephew, who's 13. And neither one of them likes school. They're both very antagonistic about school, about getting any work done. They're both gamers. They love to play. They're very young-minded. So, we started with the scanner with inner voice. My daughter is anti anything I'm trying to do, just like a typical teenager. She doesn't want to take her supplements. She doesn't want to do this. She doesn't want to do that. So I did inner voice with her twice. but every time I would do it, she'd go to, you know, sucking her teeth and rolling her head and all this stuff. So what I started doing was I would scan her. I would say, come here, I need for you to talk for, you know, 10 seconds. I'd scan her, and then I would get those frequencies and put them in a SEFI. And so I would put them in her playlist, and I would put different things for school, just like, you know, breathe easy and anxiety and different things. And she, like, I've seen such a shift in her personality just in a couple weeks. And she's like made new friends. She's just coming home where it wasn't a tragic day. You know, I say, how was your day? Oh, it was actually pretty good, as if that's not even normally a possibility. You know, it was actually good. Like, oh, wow. And so that's been amazing. Now, my nephew, he came to see me on Sunday. He was like, Auntie Janine, I have to tell you what happened. I said, what, Joey? He said that that program, literally, these are his words. He said it completely changed my personality. Now I like school. I've been coming home, having a good day. Like, I actually enjoy it. And it's been amazing to see in such a short period of time. So
Oh
super
my
powerful.
gosh.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's quite amazing.
Gosh.
I
And
can
coming
tell you-
from a 13-year-old, when he says it, literally, he says it changed my whole personality. Those were his words. For
That
the
is
better.
crazy.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah. But I
I
have to hide it. You know, he'll do it, he'll listen to his tones. She doesn't want anything to do with it. So I have to put it, I get the tones and I just put them in her SEFI, turn it down. She doesn't know. And we go from there, you know?
Oh my gosh. What a game changer for the family.
Yeah.
I mean, that changes the whole dynamics in the family system too, when you start releasing things from people. Wow.
Oh, by the time school starts up next year, they should both be good.
That is amazing.
So fantastic, fantastic. Anybody else?
I'd like to ask a question if nobody else wants to share.
Go for it.
I have two questions. I don't think we have time for them, so maybe answer whichever one is easiest in the shortest amount of time. The first question is, can somebody explain to me the concept of erasing? Whether or not, like, I understand like erasing it from water and pellets, but erasing generally outside of that, when you're erasing something from somebody, I don't quite grasp that. In fact, forget about the second thing. That's the one I'm most interested in. Do you have a quick way to explain that to me?
The only way, Dr. Darrell, I can explain it is when we were at Day of Discovery, the friend of mine that told me about that, I was having some hip problem. And we actually, it was when the inner illuminator, when they were talking about bringing it out, and they haven't brought it out yet, but we had an inner illuminator and she was rubbing the inner illuminator on my hip where the pain was. And I said, no, it really didn't help relieve it. She goes, I got something better. She goes, come here. And she held the scanner up to my hip and she did the erase button and she did it several times. And I'm like, whoa, the pain is gone. And she says, exactly, it is. But she's also an energy worker. She's a master Reiki practitioner. So she set the intention to make that pain go away. And by putting the scanner up to my hip and erasing it, she was setting that intention. And the scanner also helped with that intention. And I feel like, and everybody that we've had do that, it has helped. I don't know how to explain it. It's that spooky effect that we just can't explain, but it works. That's the best
And
way.
and just so that I in case you want to add anything to this, my question, you know, I'm really not necessarily trying to understand the mechanics of it. Like, I didn't even fully grasp whether or not there's a training on how to use that outside of clearing out pellets or anything like that. Like, okay, so it's really one of those Becky type things where you find ways to do it yourself.
Well, if you can stop and think about when you're clearing a homeopathic remedy, you're clearing out things that have attached to it that you don't want attached to it. You're not clearing out the original
correct
blueprint. So it'd be
Right.
the
You're not
same
clearing
thing
out
with
the
the
water
body
or
when
the
something's
sugar.
going. Yeah, with something's going on with the body, if you're trying to erase, you're trying to erase frequencies that have come in that shouldn't be there.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's really anything that's negative, that's bad, because if you were to put it up to something like an apple and try to erase it, you're not it's not going to erase the name. I mean, it's not going to erase anything positive out of that apple. It will only erase anything that could have possibly attached to it, like a negative energy, or
Yep.
or maybe somebody picked it up and go, oh, that's the ugliest apple I ever saw, and put it back down. We're just going to erase that, because I even have friends that will actually erase anything that comes into their home, but they've been doing this before they had a scanner. So it's just a practice that they have always done as an energetic protection to themselves and their homes.
Another thing, if you can remember, Lauren has talked a lot, and I think Deb Bruce has also talked a lot about when you run scans and you get this information, you're like, well, that's not mine. No, it could be somebody else's. We are constantly picking up frequencies that are not meant for us. We're picking up other people's frequencies. It's just, there's so much that's going on around us that we're not aware of. This whole thing of frequency, most people haven't been tapped into it, but it attaches to it. Just like, I do believe in demonic spirits and have had experiences with that. Those are things that are not supposed to be here. And you might not always be aware of it. So that's why I love this scanner, because Lauren's whole design, his whole reason for doing this is getting rid of the things that were not meant for us and getting us back to original, perfect blueprint.
Okay, thank you.
Did it help? Okay, good.
It does. It does.
Good. All right, guys, we are 1 minute from Solex call, so we'll go ahead and close. This was an amazing call. We may have to expand to an hour. I don't know.
I know.
We'll see how things go. But we thank you, and we will see you next week. Thanks,
Yay.
everybody.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Yes.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.